Let's talk about Urza's Iron Alliance. With our commander Urza, Chief Artificer for 3 white, blue, black, it's a 4/5 human artificer. It has affinity for artifacts, which means this is going to cost 1 less for each artifact you control, so we can end up casting our commander for only white, blue, black. Artifact creatures you control have menace, and at the beginning of your end step, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So moving on to the cards to consider adding to this deck, let's talk about Chief Engineer. We can have all of our artifact spells that we're casting have Convoke, which means we can tap our creatures and it's going to pay for 1 colorless or 1 mana of that creature's color. So if we're using the creatures we're making from Urza, that's going to be 1 colorless. But this is a great way to start ramping, and it's just like we're having free lands with those creatures that we're making. A great way to make extra mana. Cryptothrall. Other artifact creatures you control have hexproof. Now, if you didn't know, there are a huge amount of artifact creatures in this deck on top of the ones that we're already making, so this can be a great way for us to protect them. Next is Cyberdrive Awakener. This is a 4/4 flyer, and it says other artifact creatures you control have flying. So this is a great way to give our artifact creatures evasion and deal more damage to our opponents. Whenever this enters the battlefield until the end of your turn, each non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4. So we can turn things that aren't creatures into 4/4s and deal a huge amount of damage, and they have flying on top of that. This can be a really sweet way to win the game. Aethersworn Sphinx. So this has affinity for artifacts. It's a 4/4 flyer and it has Cascade. So we can cast this in our dream world for 1 white and 1 blue. So for 2 mana, and we get to Cascade for spells with 8 mana cost or less. Droya's Familiar. So historic spells are going to cost 1 less to cast, and that is artifact, legendaries, and sagas. Research Thief. For 4 and a blue, this is a 3/3 flyer with flash. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I love card draw, and this is an amazing way to do so. We get a creature at our end step each turn if we have our commander out. So why not start getting card draw whenever they deal damage to a player? In my opinion, this is a really undervalued card. Next is Solemn Simulacrum. This can go in any deck in my opinion. It's going to help us ramp, and if this dies, we get to draw a card. Let's talk about Their Name is Death. For 3, black, black, black. It's a sorcery that says destroy all non-artifact creatures. We will get the most benefit out of this hopefully because we are artifact focused, and it will hurt our opponents more if they are not. Thoughtcast. It does cost 5 mana, but it has affinity for artifacts, so we could end up casting this for 1 blue. We get to draw 2 cards. The last card I want to mention is Efficient Construction. It's an enchantment that says whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. So we're creating a huge amount of tokens, so we already have a huge amount of artifacts in this deck, and those constructs that we're making with our commander, they benefit from each artifact we control, so making more on top of that are going to make those creatures even bigger. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want any of these cards, you can use the link down below, and thank you to the members who help support this show. If you'd like to become a member, you can hit the join button down below and start supporting this channel for only 99 cents. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.